I gotta call someone. I gotta call past the future. Even though it happened a few years ago, I still have to get him on the phone. Past the future, come and get this woman. We need to open the book of Galatians, chapter 1, verse 2. From the streets did she
From the
emerge, and to the streets she will return. And I say unto you, she is for the streets. So be not worried from whence she must return, from whence she came. Amen.
So, hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the number one podcast in Ireland, Into Reality podcast. I'm your host Abdul, and here's my co-host Usman. How are you, Usman?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing grand. It's been a hectic week, but we survived so far, so good.
Yeah,
And
so far so good.
we got special guests today. Old time friend Salim. How are you, Salim? And he's gone. Hello.
hello, guys.
Probably-
Technical issues. Hello, Salim. Can you hear
So
me?
it's breaking for some reason.
It's Brett.
Oh yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a
All
technical
right. Let me
difficulty.
introduce myself.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Hello, guys. My name is Salim. I'm a junior doctor working in Wolverhampton.
is that all you're gonna say?
What did you say before? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
I just
What
said
did you
that.
say before? I didn't hear what you were saying.
All I just said. We got here Salim, and Salim's going to introduce himself.
Okay. Yeah. Hello, guys. My name is Salim. I'm a junior doctor working in Wolverhampton, and yeah, ask me whatever you want to ask me.
Welcome to the podcast. Twice.
Welcome
Since your
to the
introduction was done twice.
What's it called again?
But hey,
Make a
notice
mistake.
how.
Make a
But hey,
mistake once. Shame on you.
Yeah.
Make a
Yeah.
mistake two. What's I forgot, man. I can't
yeah,
remember.
no. Fool
Fool
me
me
once,
once.
shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Yeah. So
But hey, notice how Salim
so
fully fully British since the last time we met him.
yeah, no. Yeah, the accent you can
Really?
really
Is
tell.
that?
To be honest. Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's re-
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. Essentially, I don't know what happened.
no, like your
I
accent's
just
like
switched.
a proper British person. If I didn't know you, I'd probably think you're white. To be honest.
Oh,
No.
really?
I would still believe he's actual British, just that he has like another nation's heritage.
Nah, I thought you were white. I was like, who's
Yeah.
this white guy, man? Who's this Oyibo?
But
As people like to
it's
say.
like it's just like Abdullahi though. You kind of you have a proper one of those Irish accents that
No,
True.
you
my
can just
accent
tell.
isn't my
Yeah.
accent isn't that thick though, to be honest, compared to other people.
It's
But
too
yours
it's
is
to
like
me now.
pinpoint British, like
Oh,
The
what's
thing
it
really?
called?
with the thing with Salim's, it's not it's there, but it's not the fully British. I would say it's like halfway. Abdullah, your Irish accent is weak. Not as an insult, but it is weak. But we can tell that it's kind of like an Irish accent, if you know what I
That's what I
mean.
said. That's why I said it's not a proper Irish accent. It's just there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember when I had one too, but those are the days. I don't know what
Accent
happened.
change.
of course
So
that changes.
enough chit chat. Let's get into the topic. So who's going to start off, me or you, Usman?
Host
I
goes
think it's your.
first.
I think it's your turn. I think it's your turn because I think I went first last week. Or is it you? No, sorry, you went first last week. So I think it's my turn this week.
Yeah, I mean that was probably because it was a topic we picked to talk about. I think right now, since it's a guest, it'll kind of be a bit different. It'll still be the
Yeah.
same, but we might start a bit differently.
Oh well, you never. Oh well, it is what it is. So I'll let you go first then. Go on.
Okay, so first of all, I want to talk about a certain drum gossip that's been happening recently. It happened a few years ago, but it just became public recently, which I like to call it the entanglement of Jada Pinkett Smith and August Alsina. Now, if you haven't known what was
Exactly.
happening, there's this show that Jada Pinkett does called the Red Table Talk, where she has like her daughter and I think like a relative or friend of theirs sitting on the table just discussing different topics. But because this one was a bit different, she decided to have her husband Will Smith on it. Now, she was basically talking about how back in 2015 they were having like a problem with their marriage, so decided to just separate for a bit of time just to find their happiness. And within that time, Jada met August, who their who her son Jaden Smith introduced them to. Now, she said during that during that time he was having like some sort of problems, and she was there help trying to help him. And let's just say she had quote unquote entanglement. But we all know what that means. She basically went and cheated on Will Smith. And be, but because they were talking about it recently, they were just able to like talk about and have a laugh about it. What is I want to know, what's everyone thinking about this?
First of all, I just want to say this, and she belongs to the streets. That's it. That's all I have to say. You know?
Oh, I wanted to say that, but because you said it, that was done for me. But we I gotta call. I gotta call someone. I gotta call past the future. Even though it happened a few years ago, I still have to get him on the phone. Past the future, come and get this woman. We need to open the book of Galatians, chapter 1, verse 2. From the streets did she
From the
emerge, and to the streets she will return. And I say unto you, she is for the streets. So be not worried from whence she must return, from whence she came. Amen.
To be honest, I just feel like she just used that excuse to cheat, and I feel really sorry for August. He's probably the one who's been left out of the situation because he probably actually had feelings for her. But yeah, she she tossed that guy to the side essentially, just used him as an
Nah,
excuse. Yeah,
the thing is, she cheated on Will Smith, yeah, and then
yeah.
she said it was an entanglement. Like, just just acknowledge that. No, just acknowledge that you cheated. Like, celebrities cheat all the
Yeah.
time. Like, but she had the audacity to say that it was an entanglement. And I felt bad for Will Smith. Man was on the verge of crying or something like that. Like, he was heartbroken, and then she did that. Like, the memes are funny and all, but like
Mm.
at the end of the day, he's still a human being. I feel bad for him.
Not only that, but too 20. She was cheating with August, who was 22 at the time. Can you imagine?
And he and
Oh,
she
Bro,
20.
and he was younger than her son, I think, at the time.
he
Exactly.
is
Yeah.
he is definitely younger than her.
22. There's a
Jada's like
22-year age difference or something like that. Over 20 years age difference. That's.
so right now. Jada is 48, and that situation happened in 2015. So she was either like
Mm.
43 or 44 back then.
Exa-
Now,
And he was 20, 21. So yeah,
If I check August now,
22.
he is 27. So that would be like 22, 23.
Yeah.
Man,
But wait, if this happened in
Yeah.
2015, why is it only surfing this thing out now? Like, why now?
I don't, I don't know how it got resurfaced,
It was.
but this is just happening right now.
It was. It was hidden all this time, but I feel like you just made it public now. That's why it was hidden all the time. I
Public
kind of
for what? Like,
I had a feeling though. To be honest, it was obvious. You could kind of tell. There was some signs.
That she was cheating.
Because that she was close to August. Because previously in the past, he was also a guest on the Red Table Talk as well, so you could tell that they were very close. But it was a shock when it was revealed. It was a shock, but I wasn't too surprised, to be honest.
So
'Cause, like,
I went and watched. Oh, sorry, finish off.
Well, because like everyone's saying, Will Smith and Jada Smith have like the best marriage ever, and then that's why everyone was really shocked when they came out that she cheated on him, because like people were always praising that they were like this great couple, and turns out like not everything you see at surface is what it is, and that's why people were really shocked and sad at the same time.
Two things.
Not only that, but apparently Will Smith gave his blessing. Do you guys believe that?
And
No.
I doubt that. I don't think he's that
No.
he's that much of he's that much of a simp or a cock. Like
No,
I
no,
don't
no,
think
he's
he's.
not.
I doubt that. That was just rumor, something like that.
There's two things. First of all, in a marriage, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There are ups and there are downs. Same thing with relationship. But the marriage, even when the love's there, but not in the moment, there's always going to be times where things are not working out. Now, if you are there for your partner for the bad times, then he will be there with you in the good times. And fair enough, this marriage is still intact. But the second thing I want to talk about. Imagine if the script was flipped. Imagine if it was actually Will Smith that went and cheated on, let's say someone, for example, Megan Fox. I don't know why. I'm just saying her because she is hot. But imagine if Will Smith went and cheated on Jada with Megan Fox. He would have been ripped by the internet and will never be forgotten about. But because it's Jada, people would try and defend her, making an excuse saying that, oh, she wasn't in the right mental space at the time. If that's true, I just looked for the definition of entanglement, whatever she says, and entanglement is defined as a complicated or compromising relationship or situation. So, is she really telling the truth? Was she?
Wait. Do you know what's funny? Yeah, we have a doctor here around. So Salim, yeah, when someone's usually have a what's it called again? Has a problem usually with mental issue. It usually involves the brain. It doesn't it, right? Something to do with the brain.
Yeah, you have to be more specific, but yeah, it's usually due to a disbalance with the neurotransmitters.
Like for example, when it comes to emotions, it has to do with the limbic system in the brain.
Yeah, exactly.
And for,
it's usually
For example, like when it comes to PTSD, I think it's that. Correct me if I'm wrong. The amygdala that causes PTSD when it's damaged. And that's linked. Yeah, and that's linked with the limbic system. But I still don't get it. Like, why do people use mental illness as a as a card to to throw the blame away from them, like saying, oh, it was my mental health that was causing the problem, that's why I decided to do that. But I don't know, like, what do you think? Like, what can you?
I just believe that it's an easy way out. You can always blame. It's either as a means out. For instance, you can commit a crime, and a lot of criminals also try and use that. To get away with it. That they have this mental issue, and just use it as a card to get out.
But like, does it really affect a person's cognitive ability, mental health issues, like to the point that person will probably like cheat, or a person will like commit a crime or something like that, or it's just excuses?
It really depends on which mental illness you're talking about. So, for instance, some people have schizophrenia, and they experience episodes of psychosis where they have mental breakdown, and in that case, you could say that it's a mental health issue. But if PTSD, I wouldn't really say you could use that as an excuse, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like just prevalent, especially what's called again. If you go on Twitter, or like what's called again, social network. If you go
Yeah,
on like social network, people will be using that as excuse. I remember like I think like a few months ago, when Katerina she cheated with Carson, she used her mental illness as an excuse, and like people were just clowning on her for that.
yeah,
It was
Here's
like
the
it's just
thing: when people say it's because of mental illness, right now that is probably one of the most overused excuses people would use.
mm,
Because this, we can't take this seriously anymore. Because aren't there ways you can deal with it? Aren't there people that you can talk to about your mental health? If someone's like depressed, isn't there like a
exactly,
landline that someone can just call and
exactly,
say, "Yo, I'm feeling in this sort of state. I don't know what to do. Can you help me out?" That's why
exactly. No,
I can't take it seriously.
you
no,
can
but
be
like
seen by again, a doctor who can actually diagnose you and also treat you. So I don't really see it as an excuse, to be honest.
yeah, but just to play devil's advocate here, like some people like when they have a mental health issue or like feeling depressed or anxiety, like they find it hard to talk to people or seek help. But like I think because like majority of people they don't get diagnosed or what's called they don't have depression, just use that excuse, then it like overshadows the people who do and makes them then it will like further lead to them not wanting to seek help or something like that. Because like if they go and seek help, people will chastise them or what's called exile them because they'll be like, oh, it's you're just messing about. You don't have a mental health issue because everyone just uses that excuse. For example, like you go on YouTube, we have like Trisha Paytas who just says one day she's a chicken nugget, the day she's transgender, and all of that, and then she says she has a mental health issue when in fact she's just trolling and all that stuff, which I think really damages like other it damages like people who actually do need help to go seek help. Like, and you work in the field, you work in the field of medicine. Like, have you ever like encountered patients with mental health or like all that stuff though?
Yeah, definitely. You do encounter people with depression. But I work on a general medicine ward, so I haven't seen that many cases yet. But I have encountered some cases,
Uh,
regardless.
like, would they be like open? Like, they'd be hard to it'd be hard to talk to them for them to open up, wouldn't it be?
Um, yeah, but it depends on how severe the depression is. So, for instance, I remember speaking to a patient who was so depressed and withdrawn that she didn't even, want to communicate with me, and it was quite made things challenging as well. But all you can do is just, try
Try your
your
best
best. Okay. Yeah.
and hope for the best.
So if the person was in like the early stages of depression and came for help, that way it will be more easier to deal with it, right?
Exactly. We can put them on for instance, antidepressants, and that usually it doesn't completely resolve the depression, but it helps them cope with it essentially.
Oh yeah, and by the way, do you for antidepressant? Is that don't you just give them? Isn't that dopamine? You give them dopamine, which makes the person
Um,
happy, or is it something different?
no, we have usually we have SSRIs, so it's actually serotonin. What happens in depression is you have so serotonin is a neurotransmitter, right? And they have a decrease in serotonin. That's what can cause you to be depressed. So that's we give them medication to increase the levels of serotonin, essentially, and it helps, but it doesn't fully. They don't. You don't usually fully. Depression is not something that can fully go away, and it can come back as well. So just to
Takes time.
help, yeah.
Anyway, we're getting off topic here. What were we talking about? One side.
Entanglement with Jada Pinkett Smith and
Oh yeah,
August Alsina.
yeah. At the end of the day, all you have to say, she belongs to the streets. Will Smith didn't deserve that, and I feel bad for August. That's it. To be honest.
The fact that she would go and cheat on Will Smith. Will Smith is who we're talking about. One of the nicest celebrities on this earth.
Exactly.
Who can he can literally say anything he wants, and the And credit to him, he could say anything, no matter what emotion he's feeling, without having to curse. I remember in the remix of Will by Jonah Lucas, he said, "I don't have to curse just to keep it real." I mean, that's all it is. But cheat on him? Oh, come on, come on. And what would people think of you now since you cheated on him? Fair enough, you are still back together, but at what cost?
I think that just goes to shows when we think these celebrities, when we think that we know them, we just don't. Like they're in their own bubble, and like you can't, and everything you see on the surface, you can only take it for face value.
Do you guys really believe that the relationship will continue to stay stable? Do you believe that they might actually break up later? That's what I have a feeling will happen eventually.
I suppose.
I mean, you can't justify the entanglement. That's outright cheating, to be honest. So, if I were Will Smith, I would completely end the relationship. I wouldn't have, you know, forgiven her. Well, I might, but I would still have ended the relationship. What's you guys take on it?
I think
I
I'm not
mean,
judging it. I
I
think
mean,
probably.
now that I think about it, I'm like, maybe, maybe Will has forgiven her. Maybe I'm not so sure. Maybe he's forgiven her. Maybe she is fully promised that she wouldn't go and do the same thing she did again. But that's just my 2 cents on it.
The only
Cause
problem is she doesn't actually admit that she cheated. She's saying it's an entanglement, and that's my view. That's why I would say, if she's had an entanglement now, she could do it again. If she can't get entanglement and not admitting to cheating and making a mistake, because she didn't completely agree that she made a mistake. So that's why I believe that I wouldn't forgive her until she admits her wrongdoing. You get what I mean?
yep,
Yeah, but I thought she's gonna do that. Because like what, it's been 5 years and she just hasn't admitted it. I doubt she ever is gonna do that, to be honest. And to be honest, I think even if they do get back together, I doubt the relationship if it's going to be as strong as it was before. Because like when you break someone's trust, it's really hard to regain it again. And even if it does happen, if even she does regain this trust, it'll still be fragile. And like the wound, like it's like a wound. A wound, it's like a wound, and wounds. What's it called again? They might heal, but they always leave a scar. And I think that'd be a huge scar on the relationship. To be honest.
Yeah.
yeah,
Anyway,
of
Yeah.
course.
what's it
At
called
the end
again?
of the
Now
day, if
it is what it is. Like
if
I
you're
know you're gonna
look,
say that.
here's the thing.
It is what
At
it
the end of
is.
the day, if you're in a relationship, it's either you're fully in it or you're not. There's no in between. If you want to be in a relationship with someone for the sake of being with that person, go ahead. But if you want to be in a relationship and you know you're not going to be fully committed, just don't bother yourself.
Exactly.
All right,
Well spoken,
all right,
essentially.
all right. It is. Anyway,
What's next?
at the end of the day, they can do whatever they like. So now it's my turn. And so my topic is this. So Salim, you're a doctor, right? So obviously you went to med school, okay? So like, tell us how was it like being in med school?
Okay, so I
Like,
actually went to med school abroad.
tell us like from like the start, like start. How was it at the start? How was it at the middle and at the end? Especially when you were doing your finals, like your proper finals.
Yeah,
And
med
she
school
couldn't
was
even
a
finish.
journey. Med school was a journey, to be honest. It was a journey. So, I went to medical school abroad in a whole new country. So it was a bit challenging initially, just to get used to the environment and also the system and how to actually study effectively. So I'd say in the beginning it was just about just understanding the way everything works. Uh, I did, the way medical school is split into preclinical years and then clinical years. So preclinical, you learn the basic sciences, and then the clinicals are actually in hospitals. So yeah, I honestly I enjoyed the clinical years more.
than
Um,
the preclinical ones, right?
yeah, the
Because like
preclinical.
yours was especially because you're like the teachers, they'd be like grilling you and stuff. Like they want you to know every little detail and
Yeah,
stuff
but you
like
get
that.
on. To be honest, you get grilled throughout, and even when you grilling doesn't end. Even when you graduate in hospitals, the consultants will ask you questions. So that's just part of medicine. It's just something you need to get used to. But yeah, I enjoyed my time at medical school. It was really nice. I made, especially studying abroad, I met so many international students. I got to learn so many different cultures and immerse myself. Yeah,
But
so
we got a comment from a guy named Bite Emporal Hemianopia, and it says, "In what year of med school is Salim, and how has it been affected by COVID-19?" Well, that's simple. That question's easy. Salim, you graduated, didn't you? Was it this year or last year?
yeah, now I graduated last year, so I'm actually working now as a junior doctor. So I just started my internship. So it's about it's so what happens when you graduate, you do internship, and that's about 2 years. Then specialize. So that's what I'm doing now.
Well, anyway, so like you went abroad. So what could you went to Ukraine, right? And you stayed there for 6 years. So like, how was Ukraine like? Like, did you enjoy it? What did you dislike? What did you like about it? How was the people or the language there? Was it easy to learn? Stuff like that.
Uh, all right. So I'd say the main challenge that I faced in Ukraine was the language barrier initially. The language to speak Russian or Ukrainian, and Russian is a very difficult language to learn, and you especially not only to learn but to actually read as well. If you actually look at the Russian alphabet, it's crazy for someone who's an English speaker. Um, but yeah, with time, I got to understand the language, and I honestly believe that Ukrainian people are quite nice and friendly. I had no issues with them. I was very scared in the beginning. I go in there, I thought I'd face a lot of racism. I did face some, but to be honest, I've probably faced more racism in England than Ukraine, if I'm honest.
Which is surprising
But
because Ukraine it's like we say Eastern Europe and what's called again, and England would be like Western civilization, where people say, oh, it's more modernized and all that stuff. But it at the
mm,
end of the day, it doesn't depend. It's not about the how how wealthy a country is. It depends on how the people. Because I
yeah,
study. For some of you guys don't know, I study in Georgia, and the people there are nice. Like, and the language there, it's completely different as well. Even the alphabet, like they
mm,
have a whole separate alphabet, and it's more about pronunciations and all that. Like, and me too as well. When I started there, I was really I was like unsure because like I'm doing my exams currently, and I have like 2 exams left to finish my first year of medicine. And I would say, like, at the start, it was a bit difficult because I didn't know how the school was, or like how they did their stuff and all that. For example, for my midterms, I didn't really do that great. I passed it, but I didn't do that great because I thought it would just be easy because they just wanted us to pass. But it turns out it ain't. They're like really strict. And I had this teacher for histology. Her name was Tiona, and she is the strictest teacher ever. Like, for example, she give us like 20 pages a week, and then she wants you to know like every single detail of that. And then for the exam, she won't ask you every single day. She's actually the key points, which sometimes you get angry, but it is what it is. Like,
I'm sure you have that perspective then, because the way the system is in Eastern Europe is very similar. So I'm quite sure that you get grilled on a daily basis. They expect you to know a lot, and
yeah, we
you
do.
have oral. It's a lot of oral questions. You get. It's mainly that's how exams are orally, where
Yeah, it's
you.
orally questions. Yeah, like
Mm,
even the what's it called, the written questions are usually multiple choice questions, but
yeah.
like every week we'll have a seminar and it'll be an oral and they'll be asking you oral questions. And the thing is, like, some teachers, the orals will be like sharp, just ask you one, two, three. While some, especially for histology, we have Professor Tiona, they'll be grilling you. They'll be asking you questions after questions after questions. And it's like
Wow.
you're like in a chapter, like you have like one part. For example, like let's say the immune system. You have like a neutrophil or like a basophil. Yeah, she can ask you one
Yeah.
question about the neutrophil, like what's it called again? What type of granules in the neutrophil? You say lysosomes, and lysosomes, what's it called again? Are called azulophilic granules, and they contain MPO, which is myeloperoxidase. neutrophil, defenses, and what's it called again, lysosomes. And then she can go up to what's it called again. Then she can just go to basophils and says, "Oh, what do you know about basophils and all that?" And then you'd be like, "Oh, basophils, they act like mast cells and all that." So you have to know everything, and you have to know at the top of your head, which sometimes it can be confusing. Sometimes you're gonna stutter, but at the end there, it is worth it because then you know it for a long time.
Yeah, histology was kind of rough for me as well. I remember I had a guy called Professor Barinoff who was super strict. I don't know why histology is strict. It's like it's strict everywhere. So yeah, it was the same thing. And
So,
if you were late a minute, then you get an absent. I mean, you actually had to pay if you were absent, so you couldn't miss a lesson. You'd get fined.
Sorry to
wait,
interrupt. I'm just gonna go and come back for a moment.
no bother.
Okay.
Thank you. So we have another question by Tempo Hemidops. It says, where are you working currently, and what's your plan for the future? Like, what specialty you're interested in, what country you like to end up in?
All right. So I'm currently working in Wolverhampton. So with regards to speciality, I have two main specialities in mind. I'm interested in ophthalmology, so that's to do with disorders of the eye surgeons essentially. Uh, or maybe I'm also thinking about possibly GP as well, for family medicine. But that could change. I'm still doing an internship, so you never know. That could change. And I plan to work in the UK, as I am now.
For the rest of your life?
Yeah, for the rest of my life. I thought about America, but
Racism
the
issues, like,
challenges. Yeah,
I mean,
I'm not sure about America. To be honest, the
yeah,
life over there, I don't know.
especially with the Black Lives Matter thing and then the Floyd Mayweather, it's just chaotic up there.
Yeah,
So like,
definitely is.
we get off topic. So you're saying, like, how would you describe your first year of medicine?
Are you talking about medical school or working?
Medical school. Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm.
So, how would I describe it? In one word, probably hectic, I'd say. Um, just because everything was so new. That's really it. But you get used to it with time, and yeah, it gets easier.
And how would you compare it to like your your fourth, like your third and fourth, and your last year?
Um, it's very different because, like I said, the first year is preclinical, so fourth year is just it's all of a sudden you start clinicals and everything's new again. But then fifth year it gets easier, and then the final year it's a bit it was a bit stressful because you have finals. So and especially with us, you only had one attempt. If you failed finals, you repeat the year. It's crazy. So it was it was stressful at times.
And like, how was it like Ukraine? Did you like living there?
Yeah. I honestly I love Ukraine to be honest. I miss it at times. Um, yeah, 6 years. It's a long time. You get used to it, and I just like the fact that everything's so cheap in Ukraine. You can have if especially if you're from Western Europe and you go to Eastern Europe. Yeah, you can live big if you wanted to
Yeah, but
with the
like,
money
how
you
was it?
get.
Like, what did you like? Was it like the scenery, the places there, or the people, or the food? What was the thing like you do? Like for me, the thing I like about Georgia is like I go on adventures. There's like many places to go. Like there's like Batumi, Nargala fortresses, and much more places. So I like exploring. That's my favorite thing about
Mm.
Georgia, and I like the food there. So like, what would that be for you in what's it called again, in Ukraine?
Yeah, for me again, like you said, it's for me it was the traveling. I traveled quite a lot as well, and yeah, I really liked where I was living as well in terms of my flat because the flats are so cheap, so you can get a really nice place and just you know live life really.
Live life
And
to the
restaurants are
fullest.
so cheap. Yeah, restaurants are so cheap. You wouldn't. It's not like in the UK where you have to budget kind of.
Yeah, just
Still,
go
I
for a
yeah,
full board.
it's
Yeah,
much cheaper than.
yeah,
Yeah.
One
yeah.
question I would have to ask Salim is what would be the difficulties of someone studying abroad? Was like once they come in, like what were the things that they should know the moment they arrive in the country? Because some people wouldn't know about these problems until they've experienced it. So like if someone is planning to study abroad somewhere, what should they know?
Number one, make sure you research where you're going to. Make sure you know everything about, especially let's say you're going to study. Make sure you know anything about the course, and make sure it's recognized as well. You don't want to go to a place and study 6 years and then you can't even use your degree. So that's my number one advice. With regards to challenges, uh, so a lot of the challenges that a lot of people face when going to Ukraine were agents, because most usually to get into a medical school in Ukraine or university in Ukraine, you need to go through an agent, and they tend to scam you. So just be aware that there are scammers that can scam you. So make sure you contact the university directly.
Like,
And
I like if you're gonna use an agent, I say the best agent you use SME. They're a bit expensive, but I say like for them at least like they help you for this first for the 6 years. Not like what's called again. As soon as you get admission, they just let you rush. So like I'll say go
so
use SME if anyone's here is planning to go abroad, study medicine or any other course, like medicine or dentistry. Use SME, like they're like the best out there in their job.
exactly. So ideally, if you can apply directly, if not, then make sure that you're using a legit agent, not someone who's going to scam you or pay, charge you extra. Uh, so just be aware of that. And yeah, to be honest, once you get there, you just get used to the place. That's really it.
I think sometimes you just have to experience it yourself to know. Like
You can't really say.
some things you just can't say. You just have to tell a person to experience it, and then they'll know.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Oh, that's it. And another question from Heminopia is like, did Salim have to do an equivalency exam before practicing medicine in UK? So basically, I think he's talking about the PLEP exam. So what's that like? What's the PLEP exam like?
The PLAB exam. Okay, so yeah, so there's several exams that you typically take if you want to work in the UK. First of all, there's the IELTS exam, which is an English exam. Then you have the PLAB one, which is an 180 MCQ exam, and then the PLAB two, which is OSCEs. So yeah, it depends on the pathway that you're planning to take. If you want to do your internship in the UK, that's a whole different process as well, with exams as well. So yeah, you do have to take several exams
So
before you can
it's
work.
like it's not like as soon as you finish your degree, you finish studying now. Like there's still much more work to do. It's like getting your degree is just the beginning.
Yeah, okay. I'll just say the best thing to do if you're studying abroad and you want to work in the UK, just work hard in medical school. Don't joke around. Yeah, that's all I'd say.
Medical school. It's
All right.
like
Before we go, sorry, I just have to
so,
interrupt. Just two things.
Yeah.
Abdullahi, you know,
yeah,
if you see a comment, you can just click on that comment for it to display onto the screen.
like this.
Yep.
This.
And then you can click it just to get rid of it.
Oh, well. You
And
learn, you live,
secondly,
you learn.
and secondly, I have someone besides me, and I think you're gonna guess who it is.
Or is he going to talk?
Oh yeah, he will talk. Who do you think? Who do you think it is?
It's obviously
Hello.
the co-host, the other co-host Khalil, who still hasn't come on to the podcast.
Well, yeah, Khalil's actually right over here. Well, finally, Khalil, you make your debut onto the podcast. Why only now?
Yo, I just found what are you laughing for? Anyways, I just found the time to. I just finally found the time to like come onto this podcast. I've been busy with like a lot of things and all that, but now finally I'm on the podcast and all that.
That was a great introduction. It will make a good clip for the second channel. Oh yeah, before we get, for anyone watching, hopefully Usman will put the link in the description below. But we have a second channel where we post clips, so like the highlights of this of the podcast, and we post it there. Oh, actually, the
It
one
will
thing is that
definitely be in the link. It will
last
be
week
definitely in the link.
the goal was 10 subscribers, and we hit that goal. So I think next week, hopefully by next week we have 15 subscribers. So let's see if we can hit that goal. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
50.
15, not 50. Clear.
Oh,
15.
15.
Alright,
Okay.
50. Okay.
So like,
So let's carry on.
oh, I think that's it. So let's go to the last topic, Khalil's topic, since Khalil is here.
Yeah.
So, what we talk? Was it soccer?
So
Yeah.
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 So, first
I
of all,
wanted to
it's not
talk
soccer;
about.
it's football. And go on, Khalil.
I wanted to talk about the Arsenal match,
Okay, go on. Yeah, go on.
or what's it? I want to talk about you know what has been going on like the Premier League and all that.
Okay. So
And
since you brought it up, start it.
okay, like all I'm saying is just like 30 years. Come on, they haven't won it in 30 years,
Congrats to
Boys,
Liverpool, though.
but they've won it. So
Congrats.
I mean, I mean, congratulations. Like at least I'm not like a sore loser or something.
Khalil. I swear, man, you sound salty, honestly, God. But anyway, thank you.
I'm
I
not.
don't really care.
I'm not. I'm not. I'm not being salty. Nah, I'm
At
not
the,
being salty. I'm just congratulating.
okay, thank you. I have to say, at the end of the day, uh, I've won. We've won the league, so I don't really care what happens after the season because the season's over anyway. I won it, so thank you for your what's it called again contribution, and hopefully Man United will be playing Europa League next season. Thank you.
Are you also a
Anything
Man
else?
U fan, Khalil?
Anything?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
True.
they've disappointed us too many times. I'm also a Man U fan. Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, we know that.
All right. So here's the thing. First, like here's the thing. First of all, when Arsenal played against Liverpool 2 days ago, I fully expected us to lose that match
Yeah,
because
everyone did, to be honest.
yeah. But now I'm just thinking to myself, how did we win that match? Like how did we win that match?
You know when you don't have anything to fight for, you don't really care at the end of the day. So I think that's what happens. Like Van Dijk and Allison just made two errors and let it go, and that's what happens. You know, it is what it is.
And people will be saying that, oh, that Liverpool were still on vacation. They didn't take the match seriously. And I'm thinking to myself, really? Because if I'm not wrong, Liverpool were trying to get the record of 100 points in the league, and that didn't happen. But
Well, they were
anyway,
trying to, but the main goal was to win the league. You know, we won the league, and
yeah, we
so
won the league.
next
Wait, do
time,
you? Sorry,
sorry, next time we try to get the 100 points, we're probably invincibles. But you know, at
and
the
the
end of the
question
day,
is,
like we got the league,
yeah,
and
yeah.
That's
So
the
that's what
main thing,
one
matters.
really.
question is,
That's
one question is,
the main thing.
yeah, one question is, do you care about the Champions League more than the Premier League, or do you care about the Premier League more than the Champions League?
Well, at the moment, I'll say Champions League because we won the Premier League now. Before I say Premier League because we never won it, that's why I would say that. But we already won it 6 times anyway, so it's all right.
And I do need to point this out. Origi is the greatest player of all time.
What?
Man, you know funny. No, no, no.
What
Yesterday,
do you
Real
mean
Madrid
what,
won that.
Khalil? Wait,
No,
what do you mean what, Khalil? Let me tell you why Origi is the best player ever. Look at that Merseyside derby last season when it was 0-0. Origi came off came onto the pitch. Van Dijk shot the ball up as if he was going to go for a goal kick. But because of one certain Jordan Pickford's hands are not long, he did a sort of fumble mistake, and then Origi came and put the goal in, and the whole Anfield just went into limbs. It was seen. Even it made Jurgen Klopp run onto the pitch and hug Alisson. That was reason number one. Reason number two, I will just say this in 3 words: corner taking quickly.
yeah, it's supposed to be forwards, and then you're supposed to say Origi, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
Anyway,
and then the last,
Isn't that on Barcelona?
yeah, it was against Barcelona in the second leg, and then the last one,
Hmm.
he single-handedly won Liverpool the Champions League final against Tottenham.
that's debatable, but it is what it is. Anyway,
It is.
Also, Real Madrid won the league.
oh
Again?
yeah, this would be like
What
the
do you
last
mean
up.
again? No. Like they won
This
it
would
this season. They didn't win it last season.
they haven't won since 2017. Anyway, this would be like the last topic before we finish for the day. Uh,
Oh yeah, and let's just
when
finish this off with some
when
previews.
Real Madrid won the what's it called again, La Liga, there was an interview with Messi, and Messi was saying like there's no leaders, and Roma and Liverpool's matches have still hunt them. All I have to say is Barcelona. I hate Barcelona, man. Like the team I hate the most. Like I hate Barcelona more than I hate Liverpool.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, sorry, wait, sorry. I hate Barcelona.
I know. I was like, what are you saying?
I hate Barcelona. Sorry, I hate Barcelona more than I hate Man United. Sorry, what was I thinking?
Oh, wow. I was like, this guy just turned against Liverpool.
Uh,
Last minute.
uh,
Yeah.
I hate Barcelona because Barcelona take our best players when we need them because they took what's called Mascherano in was it 2009-10 season they took him. Then they took Suarez and they took Philip Coutinho. Like they keep on taking our best players and that's why I hate them so much. And then they're like
But
I
be honest,
remember
even though they took Coutinho from you, it didn't affect your team.
yeah, but like if Coutinho was there, our midfield would be better though. Let's be realistic. Our midfield would be 10 times better.
Wait, now that I
Yeah, I
think about it,
agree. I
if
agree.
I think now that
Like
I think about
like
it, if
our weak
Coutinho's
point is our
there,
midfield. Because we don't have like Keita. I just don't know what's up with him. He has potential, but like he ain't playing as great as we want him to be. And then and then what's it called again? Wijnaldum. Sometimes he's not. Wijnaldum and Ox. Sometimes they're not like up for the challenge. I think they'd be like backup players to be honest. Like for
but I
example, like
think
squad players.
but I think Wijnaldum has become a better player than he was when he joined your club. To be honest.
Well, obviously because of club, because of coaching, obviously he's going to be better. It is what it is. Anyway,
Yeah.
I,
Anyways, when you're
I think
talking about Barcelona, there's so many things wrong with Barcelona, but because there's so
that.
many, that'll be left for another time.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah. So
I think.
I think that's the end of the podcast.
Wait.
It's
Just
been yeah,
let's just do one more thing. Let's just do one more thing.
yeah.
Let's like preview the semifinals of the FA Cup. There's Arsenal, Man City, and then there's Man United against Chelsea. I think let's talk about the Man United Chelsea match first of all.
Man United are going to win. That's all I can say. They're going to go to the end.
I hope
They're
Chelsea
gonna win.
wins.
The thing is, I can't put a definite spot on who would win this. This match could go either way because
Yeah.
Chelsea Chelsea are doing well. Looks like they will retain their place in the Champions League, and then Man United are just picking up form right now. Speaking about right now, like Martial's doing well. Rashford is on fire, and hey, fair play to Rashford for what he did on Twitter. I think you've seen the Salim asking the British government to provide more food for kids that go into school
Oh
and all that
yeah.
sort of. Credit to him, and I think
Exactly. Yeah.
and I think he's going to receive a honorary degree from the University of Manchester. I'm not wrong.
I haven't heard of that yet, but yeah, he does deserve it. I believe. He does deserve it.
That
It was a great
that man
course. What
that
he
man
did.
deserves an MBE. That man deserves an MBE.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
hopefully you get it. Hopefully.
Yeah. So, anyways, who do you think is going to win, Abdullahi?
Hopefully hopefully I want Arsenal or Chelsea to win the FA Cup. To be honest.
So you just want one of those to win the FA Cup. I was just talking about the semi final because right now I can't wait.
Hopefully Chelsea will beat Man United. I'll probably be wrong, and people will be saying slating me in the comment section. But it is what it is, and hopefully, fingers crossed, Arsenal, since they bet us, they probably have getting more fight to beat Man City. But that's unlikely to happen. No.
Yeah,
Before we wrap this up, Man City has more losses than Arsenal this season, if
yes,
I'm correct.
yeah.
And
The thing is that we've just been drawing lots of games.
I swear.
I say it's going to be a Man United Arsenal final, and yeah, we're going to win it. Unfortunately,
One
for you guys.
thing about the Man United Chelsea semi final, the thing is, if Man United can hold their defense very well, then they're going to the final.
Because Chelsea has a really bad defense.
Because
Yeah, that's true.
the only good defender in Chelsea's defense is Cesar Azpilicueta. The rest of them, no. Rudiger had a one good period, nothing else. Tomori is a youngster. Who else? Wait, who plays? Wait, who's Marcus Alonso is just a wreck. He's like a car wreck, and I'm not talking about his actual accident back then.
Don't forget the greatest of all time defender, Kurt Zuma.
I mean, Kurt Zuma.
This is another case. Anyway, time's
And with
ticking.
Arsenal, we need God. We need God. We need a miracle to happen if we're ever going to be Man City. It's no. Oh goodness.
Oh well, we'll find out. Anyway, so this is the end of the podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Give a like if you liked it. Subscribe if you're new, and don't forget. Hopefully, Usman, we'll put a link in the description below to the second channel so you can subscribe there and see the clips.
It's
And
definitely in the
I've been your
description.
host, Abdul. So hopefully, I've been your host, Abdul, and this has been my host, Usman. And Khalil has made a cameo. And thanks to our guest Salim for taking this time out of his busy schedule to come onto our podcast.
Thanks for having
Appreciate
me.
it, man. And this has been the Into Reality podcast and the #1 podcast in Ireland. Don't forget that. And we'll see you guys next week. Thank you.